What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we've got another Total War, Warhammer 2, the Queen and the Crone early access multiplayer battle for you guys. And today we're facing off against Janet on occasion. He's got his Norsca units. He's got a bunch of Norsca units over there, including a Feral Mammoth. And I've taken the Dawi, the proud, stout folk. I've also got the engineer, who has some new additions to him, as well as we've got him in between the two cannons here. I've also got some giant slayers, so I've got some of the new stuff to show off for you guys. And right off the bat, let's go ahead and get over here to Ungrim. So I stripped Ungrim down. He is just so cheap. You can see him here, the Slayer King. He is so cheap. If it looks like he's got like his dragon head cloak covering his face. But Ungrim Ironfist, the Slayer King, he's super cheap. He's like 1,400 if you strip him down. And we do have, we do have Foe Seeker there to keep giving him a little vigor. And he has just got 120 armor, 70 melee attack. So I mean, with 430, weapon damage, he is able to just cut through large units, especially with his anti-large bonus. Here in the front, we've just got some standard Longbeards. Now, the nice thing about the Longbeards themselves is they are immune to psychology, so they make a great frontline unit. They've got 100 armor, they've got bronze shields, 48 melee defense, so right up here in front, they're just going to provide a good, strong frontline for me. Nobody is going to be getting through here. I mean, that is going to be, especially for the Norscan units, who do have low armor. They've got pretty high attack, but they'll have a hard time cutting through those Longbeards too quickly. Here we've also got two groups of Thunderers. I figure with their armor-piercing missiles, they'll be able to shoot down any mammoths, trolls, things like that. Anything that Fimir Warriors, anything that sticks its head up above, some monstrous units, I'm going to be attacking with the armor-piercing of these Thunderers. And when they get engaged, they're not the worst in combat. I mean, 28, they do have 80 armor. So, I mean, they're not the worst when they're engaged in combat. So we've got Ungrim, we've got the Thunderers, we've got those Longbeards in front. We do have these Giant Slayers. So these are the new guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. You see them with their double-bladed axes there. Those Giant Slayers, I mean, they're way cooler than Troll Slayers. 1,200 gold they cost, and they're right here, ready to do some good damage. They've got anti-large, they do armor piercing. They've got no armor, they've got pretty low defense, so they're the epitome of a glass cannon unit. So we have some of those in the back there just to protect the cannons. You see on each side we've got a group of miners with blasting charges, just trying to protect the flanks. They do have the armor piercing attacks are 75 unit modules, so they can cut through some something like these warhounds or something like that. If they get in the back, we'll be able to hold them, and the blasting charges hopefully will get off and do some good damage. Here in the back, we've got the regiment of renowned Nor-Grimlings Ironbreakers. Look how awesome they look. I mean, I just love love the way their armor looks. They're just some of my favorite looking units in the whole game, and with their blasting charges, they should be able to get through the lightly armored units of Norsca. Those blasting charges will do major damage. But what I want to show you guys first off is we do have the cannons here. So the cannons I've ranked up. I've given them 6 chevrons. They cost 1,000 each, which makes them cost as much as a hell cannon almost. But at the same time, we've got extra powder. We've got bigger explosion radius, armor piercing. We've got the Prospector Spyglass, which the engineer here, he gives the Prospector Spyglass 18% accuracy. So he will give it in a pretty good aura there. If you see here, he's also got the Rune of Slowness. So 12% speed and 8% charge bonus to a pretty good size AoE around him. Also, Prospector Spyglass, 18% accuracy. We've got Ballistics Calibration, which gives 30% accuracy. So if you get the extra accuracy of the chevrons with the 6, plus the Ballistics Calibration, plus the accuracy on from the Spyglass, you're going to do some really, really good damage. Besides that, we've got Entrenchment, which holds a unit in place, but it'll give them 40% armor-piercing missile damage. So besides the engineer himself being able to do some good damage, I think I've also brought, let's see, did I also bring, I mean, I may have brought it. No, I don't think I brought it. So he also has a fire ring, but I didn't bring it this time. So we've got the cannons, and we've got everything just trying to protect those 2 cannons. So at this point, let's go ahead and take a look at Janet's army. He's got over here on the right, he's got 2 of the Norscan Warhounds. Take a look at them. Oh man, I just love the way they look. But they do not have any real bonuses, so they're pretty cheap. You see there 19 weapon damage, 3 armor piercing. They've got 4,500 health and 60 models, so not too bad, but only 17 melee defense and 15 armor. So these guys are got to be quick. They're, with 95 speed, they're really just to get into the back, maybe into on top of those cannon crews or something like that. Here in the front line, you see we've got a bunch of Marauder Berserkers. So we've got 4 groups of Marauder Berserkers, and if we take a look in here at those Marauder Berserkers, oh man, look at those tattoos. They're just, these guys look pretty cool too. It reminds me of the Vikings for sure. The show Vikings, these Norse Berserkers are just ready, man. Look at that, 57 weapon strength. They've got 49 attacks. So even though they've only got 15 armor and 26 defense, they've got a pretty good charge bonus. They've got frenzy. So as long as their leadership's high, these guys are going to be cutting through those frontline dwarf warriors, even those longbeards. Here in the back, you see these groups of Fimir Warriors, and look at them with those dual maces. Pretty awesome. They remind me of the dinosaurs from Dinosaurs the movie, not the mama. But you see here, they do sunder armor, so they take away 30 armor, and they do magical attacks. So the sundering armor, I think, makes up for the fact of the dwarf's innate magic resistance. But they also do armor piercing, 64 armor piercing damage. So each swing from one of these 12 Fimir Warriors, and he's got 2 groups here. Each swing will do some good damage, and also help the other units, help these Berserkers to do more damage as well. You see here, we do have a Feral Mammoth, and look at him all scarred up. He's got, this guy is nasty. Look at that. He's got tentacles. Oh man, that is crazy. Look at this. Oh man, look at his snout. That is so nasty. Oh man, this guy he's ready to do some work, and he's going to have some hard time with that boy because of the cannons. Here in the back, he's got those Marauder Hunters. They're short range, 70 range, but they do actually apply shield breaker when they attack with their missiles. So it does reduce the missile parry. They also do some armor piercing, 21 armor piercing, which is really good. So despite their short range, they can do some major work if they get in range and start attacking. We've also got Wulfrik over here, last but not least. You see him just, oh my god, just screaming. He's got, I swear his teeth are covered in blood. He's got his sword above his head. Look at this. He's got a Chaos Warrior, a Marauder champion leading his horses here, and he is ready to do some damage. You can see here, Wulfrik has brought the Sword of Torgal to get that 75% weapon damage every 2 minutes. He's got Hunter of Champions, which is that debuff to place on enemy lords. He's got Sea Fang. He's got all sorts of stuff ready. And just like he's got Fight or Die for that AoE melee attack and leadership buff. And then also, just like most all units here, they do have Rage. So the longer they stay engaged, especially these Berserkers, the longer they stay engaged in battle, the longer that they will, let's see here, there you go. Berserk actually is what the Berserkers have. You can see that if they stay in for like a minute and a half, they'll get 13 melee attack, 22% physical resistance. So even though they have that low armor, they do kind of do some pretty good damage if they stay in combat. Over here on the left, you'll see that we've got a shaman, a sorcerer of metal. He does have transmutation of lead to do that negative melee attack and weapon damage. So just a attack debuff, and also final transmutation. So he's looking to do some major damage with that AoE spell. So Janet on Occasion is a great guy, good friend of mine. I hope you guys have checked out his channel before. If not, go find him on YouTube. He is a blast. He's got the super smooth voice, and we're going to go ahead and get this battle started. So right off the bat, you'll see I'm popping ballistics calibration. I've got these cannons, and they are just ready to hit. If you look over here, they're shooting in, and they're just going to start smacking this Feral Mammoth. So it's already lost about 1,000 health. They start with about 9,000 health, and so Janet is going to have to start moving in right away. Over here on the right flank, you'll see those Norsca Warhounds with their 95 speed are starting to get in. But we've got a pretty wide formation here, and all I really want to do is try to get a few more hits on this Mammoth and try to just get the most value I can. You see now we've got that 40% armor piercing damage, and our missile damage is up super high on this cannon. One more hit sends that Feral Mammoth out of control, and it is just going to start marching forward, and that's exactly what we want. At the same time here, you see these Norsca Warhounds from Janet are coming right in the side here. You see Ungrim was not able to catch him. At the same time, they're going to get right here into this cannon crew. Oh my god, that charge is going to do massive damage. But at the same time, we do have all of these blasting charges. So these blasting charges are going to come in there and just completely wipe out the Warhounds. They do wipe out my own cannon crew as well, and so we're going to have to get back on there, at least as soon as we get back from being broken. We've still got one cannon firing in the back there. And we have actually managed to get some charges on these Norscan Warhounds as well. They're down pretty low, and we're going to have to get them off of this cannon or we're going to be in for some trouble. At the same time, you see the Thunderers here. They're starting to get some shots on this Mammoth. This Mammoth is finally broken, so that's a really expensive unit to be broken right off the bat. And you see here another set of blasting charges goes in and shatters that other group of Norscan Warhounds. So we've kind of cleared off the problems with our back line here, and that'll allow us to bring our miners and all of our other units up here into the main battle. You can see here that we do have Wulfrik, and he's tied up with these Thunderers, but we have got Ungrim in here as well, and Final Transmutation coming down and hitting both of these groups of Thunderers, but not doing that much damage. We're doing okay. It uses a lot of Winds of Magic, but he has, with the charges, those Longbeards in the front, most of them is broken. Over here on the right, though, the miners with blasting charges, we intercepted this second group of Marauder Berserkers, and as soon as we can, you see there are more blasting charges getting in, and the Nordgrimlings have finally used up the last of their charges, and we're just going to keep moving in. Over here on the right flank, the Feral Mammoth is actually starting to come back, but he has such low leadership, he's having a hard time, and there's just a massive group of these Fimir Warriors and Marauder Berserkers, and you see them just coming in here, and there's just dead dwarves on the ground. They have finished off those groups of Longbeards. The Longbeards have broken and shattered, and they are pretty much off the map. At the same time, we've still got this cannon firing. You see the ballistics calibration is still existing, and he's got some good shots. He's just going to take shots. He's managed to hit some Fimir Warriors. Over here on the right flank, these miners with blasting charges and these iron breakers are. I mean, look at this. You see here that Wulfrik right in there with his chariot. Oh man, those Fimir are in there smashing down too, but at the same time, you know, people have gone out of control. The Nordgrimlings have tons and tons of armor and defense, so they'll be able to hold there for a little while. Here on the flank, you can see those Fimir Warriors are broken off. If they come back and get here on this cannon, I'll be in for some deep trouble. For me right now, I've really got to make sure I'm just shooting everything I can. You can see the Master Engineer here in the back is taking some pot shots at this Shaman Sorcerer of Metal, and Ungrim in here is getting in here too. We've got Thunderers taking shots. We've got Ungrim with his axe. Oh man. And at the same point, I think that's going to be it for that Shaman Sorcerer of Metal. So once he was singled out there, he's pretty much going to get broken and routed off the field. Here in the back, you can see those Marauder Hunters are getting pretty low on ammo, so they're actually going to have to start coming in and getting into melee. And it is just neck and neck. Me and Janet are fighting to the end. Here in the back, you can see Wulfrik the Wanderer getting right on top of this cannon, tying it up, while the cannon just continues to take pot shots at whatever it can. Over here on the right, we've got those Thunderers, and they're shooting in at those Fimir Warriors. So because those Fimir Warriors are those large units, we can shoot above the heads of our own units, and we're getting some pot shots in and getting some good damage against those warriors. Over here on the right, we're also trying to get this cannon back on track, and you can see here the engineer is still here. He's providing, he's trying to take some shots at Wulfrik, but he's obstructed. But both of these cannons are back online, and we're going to make sure to use them to try to take out the last of that mammoth. We do not want that thing doing anything. He turns around, you see he is getting out of there. Right here in the middle, Wulfrik the Wanderer, he's still riding around on his chariot. You see there's still Fimir Warriors who just came back from route. And there's a big charge of Marauder Hunters. We've got more Marauder Hunters coming in here. But these Giant Slayers are in here, and you can see them just swinging their axes. Look at that. You can see here in the back, we've got some Longbeards. We've got some Miners. We've got these... oh, man, look at those Giant Slayers just cutting through those units. Oh my god, those Marauder Berserkers had no chance, and neither did these Marauder Hunters. You see some shots coming in from these remaining Thunderers, which are on the back line. You can see here we've got some Thunderers, which are trying to, you know, take shots at Wulfrik. At the same time, a lot of Janet's units just broke, so we were able to get in there, get some shots, you know, hit those Marauder Hunters. Once they got into melee, they were no match for some of these Giant Slayers, and on this side, these Nordgrimlings Iron Breakers are just continuing to hold strong. the Marauder Berserkers are getting pretty low. I think they've lost their frenzy. They've lost pretty much their rage, and I mean, they're just pretty much getting wrapped up. I mean, the Ungrim Ironfist, these Longbeards are holding on to the very end. You can see here we're starting to get these thunders to take some shots, and we've still got ballistics calibration to activate it again. So we're getting more accuracy, more reload on these thunders. You can see even though they're tired, they're going to get some good shots. You can see the cannon taking some shots in there, and that's about that. So you can see there just the build I went with, that huge amount of accuracy really helping out. I mean, that Feral Mammoth, he was sent into rampage mode before the game even started. And it was just a huge problem. That's just a huge amount of resources for Janet to lose right off the bat. We also were able to get some good shots in there with those cannons on top of some Fimir. We got some shots at the Shaman Sorcerer there at one point. And just standing in the middle there was that Master Engineer just buffing the thunders, buffing the cannons, using that ballistics calibration and keeping the Spyglass right there. Just keeping that accuracy up. You saw those thunders, were able to get really good shots over the heads on Fimir Warriors, and really those Norscan Warhounds, we were able to kill them with those miners with blasting charges and some of the Nordgrimlings. So once we got the Giant Slayers in there, I mean, you saw Janet did a great job. I mean, he got in there. Those frontline Berserkers, they got right in there and just killed those Longbeards real quick. I mean, they cut them to pieces. You can see 90 kills on this group of Berserkers, 50 on each one of these. I mean, only 10, 8, or 10, 12, 11, 12, 8. Those Longbeards got cut to pieces, but they held just long enough for me to kind of take out these Warhounds and to take out the Mammoth and to get some good shots on those Warriors there. You see the Giant Slayers with 89 kills. They were, anything they got into, they cut to pieces. I mean, they cost 1,200. They were able to cut apart the Berserkers. They were able to cut apart the Hunters at one point. We got some good blasting charges. I mean, for 400, 35 and 32, that is just great amounts of kills because there was nothing really cheap except for, I mean, I guess the Warhounds, they got a bunch of kills on the Warhounds, but once we got those cannons firing again, and we got Ungrim on top of the, the two different legendary lords at different points, this engineer is starting to be a lot of fun for me. You saw like that rune of slowness when these Warhounds got in there, they slowed down pretty quickly, and the charge is actually negated by about 8% as well. So we're having some fun with the dwarves. I'm trying these, kind of trying to get these accuracy based, see if I can get these cannons to work, and this time it finally did. We had Norsca and it finally worked. Wulfrik, of course, these two guys on their chariots, nothing to stop them without the Tormentor sword, but you saw, I mean, it wasn't terrible. Wulfrik and I mean, we were able to get the shots on them with the cannon whenever they stopped moving. We had some Thunderer shots, we got some Giant Slayer attacks, and overall I think we just slowly wore them down, and because the low armor of the Norsca units, at the end of the day, we were able to pull out the victory this time. I want to say great game to my opponent, Janet, on occasion. He's just a blast to listen to and watch his videos. I watch him all the time. If you haven't checked him out, go ahead and check him out on YouTube. He's just a really great guy. I want to thank CA for giving me access to this early access stuff. I know that the actual full DLC and everything's coming out on the 31st, so I hope you guys are super excited. Go out and get it, The Queen and the Crone. I had already purchased it before I even got access, so I wanted it. I got it the day that they opened it up, man, and I am excited for all the legendary lords, for the free LC, for anything these guys are giving us. I really appreciate it. I think this game is it's gonna come with a whole new meta when this comes out, and I hope you guys are ready for it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Please subscribe for more great online content. This is Black Iron, and this has been another one of Black Iron's Battles.